Hello, it's Kat. I am here to share with you how I sew my signatures into a hidden spine. I have uploaded this video before and YouTube never let it post. I don't know why. But so this is a different journal than the one we started out with. But so what I have done is made the cover, and I have put Tyvek here, and I have put craft cardstock into the center. This is a 2-inch spine. Okay, so from there I took, and I got to take this out because I was not thinking and started sewing because I just get into the zone and don't think about what I'm doing. Okay, so I made my signatures, which you've all seen in the other video. If not, it is on my channel. I will try to link it. So I cut this piece of craft cardstock to 4.5 inches wide. Get rid of that stupid autofocus. Okay. So I measured it at 4.5 inches wide and the length that I needed for my journal. And then I had 5 signatures. So I have this old template that I keep. And so I attached it. All I did with it was measure each, between each signature is just about 3/8 of an inch. You can go 1/4 inch, however you want to do it. Measured them out, drew my lines and lightly in pencil, and then measured. You're going to ignore these two because these are old holes. Did 3 holes, sets of holes across. Okay, so they all line up. Then I transferred that onto my brown cardstock, and then I fold this in half. So if you take it and you fold it in half, then your holes that you want to use, and if it helps you circle the one you want to use, because we're going to ignore these. This would be a 5-hole punch if we did them all, and we're only going to do a 3. So then you take that and you put it inside of your first signature. You find the middle of it, and you've already put your papers where you wanted them. You lay this inside here so that it lines up, and I just use this little bead reamer, and you poke through the holes that you've circled to get your first set of holes. Okay, now a lot of people take paper clips, binder clips, whatever, and hold their pamphlet or their signature together. I'm so used to it that I don't always do that. So that would be the first signature. We said we have 5 signatures. And I'm going to rearrange this one a little bit. I want that in the middle, more in the middle. Okay. Push them down in there. And on here I write top so that you can always make sure that you have them in the same location. You know where the top is. Again, with the pokey tool, I'm just going to poke holes straight through. Hold it at an angle. If you have an old phone book or something, you can sit it down and it keeps them where they should be. You can do that. And then I'm just going to fold this one because I don't remember my clips. All right, here's one. I'll just clip it that way until I get all my holes punched. Here's my next signature. And this is just some music paper in the center here. Poke my holes. Let's see if I can find another one. I'm trying trying to make this, the last one, I think the reason it wouldn't upload, it was just so long that it just quit in the middle every time in my computer. And what I did there, got little strings of paper. Okay. So we find the top again, top and top. And I never throw this template away unless it gets really, you know, mutilated or something. I have one for 3 signatures, one for 5, one for 7. Whatever I'm working on, I pretty much have a template, or I can make one real quick. They're not hard. That one. I've got stuff everywhere, folks, everywhere. Okay, and this should be my last signature. Top. See, I almost put that one in upside down. My holes in there. So now my holes should coincide with the holes that are in my what will be attached to the inside of my book. So let's start at the beginning one. And you're going to take your wax linen thread or whatever it is you're going to use to sew your signatures in, and you want to measure 3 lengths of thread for the width, the height of your book. And I have a needle that has a larger eye on it, but it's not huge because you don't want it to make the hole too big. These are all my book needles. I'm dropping things. So that one is a little bit shorter. Let's try it. A little about the same width in the eye, but just thread your needle, leave some space, and then you're going to go in to, nope, this needle's too sharp. I don't like a sharp needle. I like a more blunt needle. I find that if I use a real sharp needle, I end up making extra holes in my paper. I don't like that. So thread my needle. I'm sure you hear the lawnmower outside. So go through the center hole and then find your first row of holes. Then go through I go through just the cardboard piece. So I get it pulled through there. And then I flip my book up enough that I can see where my holes are. And just let them guide themselves onto the edge of your needle. That way that you're not poking any new holes. Now, the farther you go into the book, the harder that becomes because you have signatures already on there. Sorry, I lost train of thought. Let's pull that through. Now you're going to go back through the same hole in the middle that you started with. See what I mean there? But you want to try not to go through that actual thread because that makes it hard to tighten your signature into your book. Okay, somewhere here. Let's see, I got it into my thread. This is not my favorite wax linen thread, by the way. It is almost too sticky and drives me crazy. I thought I ordered the right one. but I didn't. So you're just going to tie that into a knot. I always use a double knot, and you can leave those threads hang or you can cut them off. I'm going to trim them to the same length and unhook that. So this will be signature 1 in our book. Okay, fold it down. I'm going to grab signature 2, find my center. Oh, I need to do my thread. So there's 1, 2, 3 links of thread. Snip it off. Wish I could pause this so I could show you without having a 45-minute long video. Okay, so in through the center hole. Then take your next set of holes and go in through the center hole on it. Leave a tail in the center. Go to your next hole. And it doesn't matter if you go to the top or the bottom. It really does not matter at all. Just finding that hole in the signature. And your needle through. Rotate your book around and back through the back side. There are probably 100 different videos on here that will show you this so much better than I am. I like to make them. I'm not the world's greatest teacher. Okay, so I put that hole through there, and this one's actually lining up perfect. Make sure your needle's on the opposite side of your thread where it came in, and pull that one through. Then I take my needle off and tie my string. If you pull too tight, you will rip your paper. But if you don't pull tight enough, then it's going to be very wobbly in your book. So there's page 2, or signature 2. And then I'll just press it down a little bit so I know where I'm at. And you can slow this down, pause, whatever you need to do. But if I do a really long video, it will take 6 hours to upload again and will not actually upload. So if this one doesn't work, I will do another book at another time and do it on a live, and we'll have to go from there. Okay. Center hole. Make sure your pages are right side up. They were not. Do the center hole on your spine piece. Now, some people fold their spine piece that's going into the book. I do not do that. I don't want to do that until I've actually inserted my pages and got the middle part glued to the inside spine. To find the hole through the middle. And sometimes they're harder to pull through. Sometimes they go like butter. It's real hard to pull through. I do have a pair of pliers that I use. Okay, so now let's see if we can find that center. Lucky enough to get it to go through again on the first try. Oh, I missed some pages. You can feel when your needle goes through, especially after you've done this for a while. See, I keep missing that page. Let's tuck that back down in. There we go. Not pulled tight enough. There we go. Come on the other side of that string. And you can do a little shorter, like sometimes I do 2.5 lengths, but being for this tutorial, I wanted to make sure I wasn't cutting myself short. Because if your string is too short, it's hard to tie. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3 signatures. 2 more to go. Forgot the signature. So there's 1, 2, 3. It's not perfect. You don't have to have a perfect measurement. Sometimes I measure all 5 by just doing all my thread at one time. Most of the time this is what I do, one at a time. Okay. Make sure your signature is going in the right direction, because I have sewn them in upside down before. As you get more in here, it gets a little harder to do. Oh, not on screen, sorry. Through that hole. Twist it around so I can see where I'm going. And through that hole. Okay. It's pulled tight inside. So now we've got to go through this hole where we went out in the first place. There we go. It was not tight. So in through that hole, and you're just kind of looking to see. Yep, I missed some pages. Back out to the center. And you get to a point where you just know it by feel. Then I always check to make sure that I do have them strings inside tight, because I have done that before. And then I have this really loose signature, and it's hard to go back in and repair that. Okay, so this is the last one. Lost my thread. So there's 1, 2, 3. My needle. See how it wants to stay open? It's because it's not been in the book yet. So it's just wanting to flop back open to its natural open state. Okay. Signatures in the right order. That one was hard to see. It was right on a music note. Okay. So through the center hole. And out. Leave a tail inside. And of course my telephone in the house is going to ring. And it was a telemarketer. I could tell by my husband's expression. Okay, so I have my thread back on the outside. This needs pulled tight. And through our first hole. So that one's a little harder, see, because we got 5 signatures on there. And you got to try to get in that same hole. Oops. You can, if you go through and forget to put it on both sides, just manipulate that without any problem. Okay, those look tight. Tie them a knot. Okay. So now we have 5 sewn in signatures. There's the back. So now we need our book, because what you're going to do is line your signatures up into your book like so with some glue. Now you can use Fabri-Tac, you can use art glitter glue, you can use tacky glue, whatever. I am going to use my art glitter glue and some double-sided tape. So I'm going to take my double-sided tape and I'm going to cover the inside of the spine here, leaving a little gap between each piece because I want to get the art glitter glue in there. Okay. Take my bone folder and burnish that all down in there so that it sticks. Get a hold of it. Sometimes it's hard to get a hold of that tape. You're probably thinking, why is she working so crooked? Well, that's just how I am. I work crooked. Now I do this so I can see where I'm at. Now, if you're using the art glitter glue, you know how quickly it can dry, so got to keep that in mind. Then I go on to the back of the spine, where I actually sewed into the signatures, and I add glue on there. Okay. Determine which is your top and which is your bottom. And then you're going to center this in there as best you can. Now this is the fun part. You got to get in between each of these signatures and really press that down so that you have good contact between the glue and the tape with the actual spine of your book. So, okay. Start there. And pick it up and look. See it right there? It came loose, so I didn't get enough force on there to hold that down. going to take your glitter glue and start. And a lot of it is the Tyvek right there. I love Tyvek, but it is very hard to get anything to stick to it. So then I start, but you do not want to let your book close yet. You want to let it have the time to start make sure it's getting set up. I use the tip of my bone folder because you can see where the actual spine crease is, and really press that down in there. And holding the other side, flip it around and get your glue onto that side. Oh, cramp. It's in your hands. Really helps when your hands don't hurt. Again, I'm just kind of forcing not forcing, but pressing this sewn in part down so that when I'm done, I have this completely straight. And I need to let that dry thoroughly. You can let your book fold now and start gently, very gently, maneuvering it so that you have a completed book. So that is how I make, and I'm not going to do anything else to this till it dries completely. That is how I make my hidden spines. And I will go back through and probably put some lace here because just to cover the weight of the Tyvek, some lace or some trim or ribbon or something. So that's how you sew in the signatures into a hidden spine. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Leave me a comment on what you think. Bye.